Good morning, guys. AB Investments is back with you this morning. We have just a few things to talk about. Um, we did anticipate, or at least I did anticipate, that this was going to happen today. I'm not going to say what you think I'm going to say because I say it a lot, and at this point, it might start getting annoying. So yeah, check the older videos, guys, and you'll see that we've in this channel so far we've anticipated this was going to happen today. Now, this is not totally bad. What I really want to talk to you guys about today is, first of all, please subscribe and like the channel. Again, let's get those algorithms up. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, nor that anything that is talked about in here is a financial advice. With that being said, this is really, really, really great. Kind of a great setup. Why today so far is a great setup? Because one, you can go and look and see all the options from yesterday. The 27,000 calls on the 17 and the $18 strike prices, and the 22,000 at that price. It was like huge. All those were magically gone, and again, because they were taking their profits. That's why you see this little healthy dip that they like to call healthy dip. It's just them taking out their profits, and they're selling the narrative on throughout the market today that inflation is so high, so crazy that the Fed is going to come out and say that it's transitory. It is what it is. By the way, guys, I still have not I haven't slept since last night, yesterday, because I was doing a lot of work throughout the night. That I started watching that Kingsman movie, and it was all right. But yeah, so I was like, when it was like 7 o'clock in the morning, I was like, might as well pull up another 2 hours and see how the market opens, just to see if things come to fruition, and it did. Now, here's why today is really important, or actually rather interesting. If you actually go and see right now on the option chain, you look specifically AMC, or even at BBIG, I checked, and Sundial, the call to put ratio is actually accumulating right now on both sides. So the interesting part here is that this is a weird kind of an option setup where my prediction, I don't think this is a kind of setup so that they can neutralize and keep the price within a certain area, which is like anywhere between the above or at around the $18 price, because that's what they want now. That's the first scenario that I predict, and that's the most likely scenario, I would say. Here's this is why this is interesting. This is why this is hard to call on this one, because there's only two scenarios in this one. I do not see a crazy dip, so that again is out of the question for me. What I see is either that it's going to be neutralized and stay kind of right around this price, hover around this price, anywhere around the upper 17s to anywhere between 1780 to 1840, like in that range. I feel like it's going to stay. Now, the second scenario is, since they're loading up, and I can see that this is institutional, this is not retail, because the way that it's set up, no offense to no any retail investors or anything, the way that it's set up, I can tell that it's coordinated, and I can tell that it's evened out and being played in a way where there could be the possibility today where you could see the price drop underneath 17, and that might lead to that thought that, oh yeah, here we go again, they're going to dip us like crazy underneath 10, 12, 13%, and then they're you're going to be like, yeah, they're back at their habits. At the end of the week, they're going to dip us. But I don't see that happening here today. What I see is you could possibly see a dip underneath the $17 strike price, because that's where they're loading up most of their puts, are around the 18.5 and the $17 range. And what they could do is drop it to that point, collect their profits on those puts, and tomorrow we would see a rise to possibly to the 19 or the $20 range. Actually, even I could see it breaking the $20 range and being anywhere around the 20, and that way they can win the puts today. So today can be put day. That's why they're selling the narrative, and that in the media they're selling the idea that, you know, it's inflation is so high it's killing the market. So that's why you see across the whole market everything is down. Regular investors, retail investors, investors that kind of like just roll with the media and the narrative, investors that are not around this channel in particular, would roll with that idea that, oh yeah, inflation is killing and the whole market is down. So it's not just something against my AMC or GameStop or Sundial, you know, or BBIG. No, you're going to be like, oh, or any of your meme stocks. You're going to be like, no, the whole market is down. This is normal. Where in reality, this is not, guys. We need to get those ideas out of our heads. Or I hope anybody on this channel should not be thinking like that, because these guys don't see, like, time is money. These guys don't waste a single moment or a second. And that's why I say the second possibility is that they could drop it, and today you could see it anywhere around, you know, you could see it, like, this is a possibility, but it's like highly unlikable. But I can see where it could be at some point, like around 11ish, 12 in the afternoon. They could, like, you know, attack it really bad, to the point where it's could go down to, like, you know, the lower 17s, and then toward the end of the day they pick it up. That way they could collect their profits on all those puts, pick it up back to that about 18, maybe 17.90, make everybody feel like, oh yeah, we're so bullish, we picked up. And then tomorrow they will add on to their positions, naturally adding to the price action and getting the stock price up higher, setting it up for next week. But in the same time, they can ensure that by next week, you know, they'll be able to play the options chain for them, because they're already looking at it from now. Remember what I said before, guys. These guys use the prior week to set up the following week, you know, so they're like always days ahead than the retail investor. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, eventually there should be something wrong with it, but in a way there's nothing wrong with it, because these guys have been in that game and they know all the ins and outs, and they know all the cheating, obviously, as well. They cheat. So it's okay for them to, in a way, outsmart us in that kind of sense. But that shouldn't be the case for long, because that's why we have this channel now, and that's why, you know, if you don't obviously take this financial advice, you know, you just if it makes any sense, then you go ahead and you know, I'm trying to legally make sure that I'm not implying anything to anyone and influence anyone on anything, because at the end of the day, I am not a financial advisor, not a broker or anything. I don't know much. I'm just like a simple-minded ape, as we like to call ourselves. You know, I'm just giving predictions here. Sometimes they happen to be right. That's it. I'm just got lucky. But yeah, so like I can see them, you know, by tomorrow, be like, you know, by the end of the week, which is tomorrow, I can see the stock price closing anywhere around the 20 or above the $20 range. But that's mainly because they want all their call options to go into the money, and then at some point tomorrow, at some point throughout, you know, from today till tomorrow, we're gonna see. I'm anticipating that we will see, like, you know, the price breaking above the 19 to the possibly the $20 range, getting all those calls into the money, collect those profits, and then set up for next week, for a nice like a really nice dip then, because again, these guys' days are numbered, you know. And again, there's always the possibility that the squeeze is up on us. But, you know, guys, we said this last week. I said this last week, like, squeeze numbers are not like this. You know, covering numbers and seeing crazy numbers, like crazy movement, that is not what we're seeing. We're not seeing a 30, 40, 50%, you know, 25 and up percent movements on any daily chart. So in order for me to confirm, like mentally, that's just how it is for me. In order for me to confirm that this is the beginning of something special. I need to see 2 trading days of at least of 20 or 20% plus um, gains, and then I can be like a little more assured to even load up, because even at that point, um, 40% added to AMC's price right now will still have it in the 20s. Like it won't even be that far out, it would still be like around, what is it right now at, um, yeah, I would say about anywhere around 26, 25, $26, maybe 27. That's after those 2 trading days, and that's a very cheap price considering what the the value of what we're anticipating to sell the stock for. I mean, obviously at many points people were thinking that 50 was the dip, and then at some point 40 was the dip, and then 30 was like the ultimate dip, and then suddenly all dips became nothing when it went to the 20s, and then even the 20s became like, oh wow. So at the end of the day, I do think we bottomed out, guys. I don't see any crazy shorting going on or any of that stuff on there, because we're getting closer and closer to that time frame. um, if you've seen the videos yesterday, you've seen what my prediction on when this whole movement will go down, and when will it start rolling. Again, honestly, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that today is the squeeze. So if that's the case, I just hope that it's today, but it is imminent. So what do I know at the end of the day? So yeah, guys, this is my predictions for today. Sorry, I'm like jet lagged and everything, so I'm gonna go ahead after this video. I decided to put it now while I'm up, because I know that I won't get back up until later on in the evening. So um, have a great night early this morning, and hopefully everything goes great. I might wake up right before the market closes, and we'll see what happens. But again, remember, 2 possibilities. One, the price will be neutral, which is the one that I'm leaning toward the most, because of the evened out put and to call option ratio. So therefore, unless while I'm asleep something goes like, they load up a lot more on this side or on this side, then that will be easy, like kind of foretelling, especially that we're at Thursday now, a day before the end of the week. So I most likely think that it's going to be neutral. It's going to be anywhere within this 2-3% loss day, which is like around 20, 30, 40 cents. Not much, nothing. And then tomorrow will be a day where we will gain that 2, 3, 4% back, just so that they would be basically, they would have made whatever money they needed to make, and they would get out, and they would also start. And the way that they will put that 4% back is by obviously loading up their positions for next week. Worst case scenario, second theory happens, and these guys drop it down like tremendously to get all the puts in the money, and then try to pick it back up before the end of trading day tomorrow, all the way back up to 20. And if that was to happen, either way, it's good for us. So that's worst case scenario, and that's still good for us. So all in all, my report is we're good. We're good for this week. We're good. I don't see anything crazy. You should be excited. Start planning your weekend. Do what you gotta do. We're almost there, guys. T+1 is gonna be implemented soon, so we're gonna see. Like I said, March 31st they said, but it might take a few extra days after the March 31st to get fully, implemented into the system. We'll talk more about that later. When I wake back up, guys, I might make some more videos, because I will probably like give an update on what happened with the market. And once again, much love, like and comment, okay, and subscribe.